Hi, CityCast listeners. For most people, working and balancing a family life can be tough. But for Imole Ladipo, she's found a way to work, have a family, and start 2 successful businesses. That's what I call Black girl magic at its finest. It's Tuesday, February 21st, 2023. I'm Carlignon Jones, and here's what Houston's talking about today. Welcome to CityCast Houston.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yes, I'm happy to have you on. Okay, so you have a successful career as an engineer, but you not only do that, you also have 2 businesses, right?
Yes, I have 2 businesses right now. I have Lumi Culture, which I started off after COVID.
And what is that?
So Lumi Culture is pretty much selling. Well, I use the word selling because that's what it does. Like I have a business on Amazon right now where I have water bottle. So I have water bottle that I've engraved with affirmations on it. And it comes from my Christian background. It comes from the whole faith-based background that I have. It's 2 water bottles of different variations. So we have like I am loved and I am more. And I created it for women. And there is a little bit of story behind the water bottle.
Okay.
So in 2020, we were at the verge of maybe losing our jobs because everybody is home, and so they didn't know maybe we needed to come to the office anymore and all of that. So I was thinking of an idea, like what can I do that possibly could make me money from home? I was thinking of that and nothing came to my mind. But meanwhile, my grandma in Canada, because I came from Canada and I just recently moved to Houston. So my grandma from Canada was struggling with her health and everything. And I grew up with my grandma back in Nigeria. I'm from Nigeria. So I grew up with my grandma. But ever since I've known my grandma don't drink enough water.
Okay.
So it's just a thing because we didn't grow up having money and all of that. So it's almost like water is like there, and then when somebody give you a pop, you're like, man, I'm drinking pop. It's like almost like a big deal drinking pop. Does that make sense?
Like soda pop. Yeah.
Yeah, even though it's killing you, it's like a big deal, like Pepsi, Coke, and all this good stuff, right? So it's like you're living the life. It's like living the dream. So for her, she whenever she has money, she just drinks pop, and and over time she just got used to drinking pop so much that she developed some sicknesses. But even then, you categorize food and drinks as enjoyment versus your body taking care of itself, kind of with water.
Yeah.
So for her, it was more like that story. So she had diabetes, and then she got used to not drinking water, and over time the diabetes grew into cancer. There's quite a few things that happened, right? And then she lived with my mom in Canada, and my mom used to advise her, drink water, it's good for you. Whenever you have medication, drink more water. But she, I guess you get used to a system and you can't come out of that system. Does that make sense? So
yeah.
So that's what happened. And then she unfortunately died of cancer in 2021.
Oh wow. I'm sorry.
Thank you. But it was really painful for me. So I was trying to understand the whole why women don't drink enough water, or why people just don't drink enough water in general. And I was looking on Amazon and I saw some beautiful concepts, but at the same time I was looking for something that is chic enough. At the same time, you can take it to the gym. And at the same time, as you're drinking your water, instead of you telling you drink water at 9 a.m., it tells you, oh, you're doing well, you're doing good. I'm faithful even with the little things. I'm disciplined and determined. That is what Lumi culture pretty much stands for. It's like, let's change the culture of what we're doing. Let's inhabit more drinking water, taking care of ourselves, because you can only be more when your vehicle is doing well, which is your body.
Exactly. Very much so. I agree. And your second business is a film company. So what inspired your film company?
So, in my film company started Lumîérè Films. It started
Hmm.
off as I'm a church girl. I grew up in church pretty much. So it started off as
Hmm.
helping in church, trying to coordinate things and make sure the technical team and the announcement department are doing the right thing. And it started off almost
Hmm.
like we were using paper, back in the day when we were using paper to read all the announcement happening in church. People don't read them. People just throw it away, and people just can start picking them after service, kind of thing. So I
Hmm.
thought about a concept that maybe could help my church. Like, let's put the announcement on video. Let people watch it. People love to be
Hmm.
entertained, so let them watch it. So over time, that grew
Hmm.
into a very, very passionate thing for me to start creating films and movies. And then I look at my life in general. I'm like, okay, what am I going to give for movies? I just don't want people to come in and just watch some movies and laugh and do all sort of things. I want people to actually learn something from the movies. So my movies is like full of morals.
Hmm.
I mean, I could make film just for the fun of it, like comedy and all that, but most of the time it is for learning, is for edifying, is for inspirational. I want you to be inspired when you come into the movies that I make.
And so both of your companies start with the same name. Where did this name come from?
Some of my films started with my name in a way, in a French way, because my name is Imole. It means light. And we
Hmm.
all know light in French means lumiere or luminate,
Okay.
So and that's where the book came from. So I don't want to put Imole on everything. I was like, okay,
Gotcha.
let's try and make it a bit
Flip it a
funky
different way.
in a different way. So I'm like, okay, lumiere and then lumi.
This ad is brought to you by How to Buy a Home. All over the country, things are getting more expensive, including rent. And I don't know about you, but I'm tired of it. It's time to start investing in something more sustainable. That's exactly why you should make this the last year you rent. I know buying a home seems difficult, but that's why I highly recommend checking out the How to Buy a Home podcast. Host David Sidoni has years of experience helping first-time homebuyers close on houses they thought were impossible. His How to Buy a Home podcast is a free resource that breaks down all you need to know to make buying a home a reality. Start listening to How to Buy a Home podcast today at howtobuyaHome.com or wherever you listen to podcasts. If you have questions, ask David directly at howtobuyaHome.com. It's that easy. So, visit howtobuyaHome.com and make this the last year you rent. What do you think makes your businesses different than other companies out there?
So for me, I think coming from that faith place for me means a lot, because that's what I grew up with. That's what gives me the anchor in a way.
Hmm.
And I think it's different because the society and the world right now is falling apart. There's every way to divide us. I think my concepts, my film, my bottles kind of find a way to unite things.
Hmm.
We are all human beings at the end of the day, apart from the color and the speech, whatever side you're on,
Hmm.
we are all aiming for the same thing, which is peace, love, joy, and harmony. Does that make sense? So that's
Hmm.
where everything comes from for me. And I think that's what is different. I don't want to put more hatred into the world. I want to bring more joy into it. So that's what makes it different
Hmm.
for me.
And how do you balance all of this? Like, if you have already a successful career, like we mentioned earlier, like, how are you doing two businesses and being an engineer as a day job? Like, how?
And I have three kids, three little kids.
Oh, wow. This is
um,
amazing.
I
Magical.
know. I don't know. I don't know how I do it, but I feel like most of the time when I'm somewhere 100%.
Hmm.
So right now I'm talking to you, I'm 100% here.
Hmm.
And then when I am at work, I'm 100% there. And when I am with my children, I'm there. I want them to enjoy my presence. There is no such thing as balance. No. I've removed that in my dictionary.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't exist. So what we
Mm-hmm.
try to do is balance the day, go as you go, balance the day, make sure everything is
Mm-hmm.
working as you plan. Have a schedule for your day that, oh, this is what I need to do. This is how I need to do things, a strategy. Have people that helps you too. Have a team that can help you to take some task off of you.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm the office, I have a nanny that is helping me taking care of the kids. I know for sure she's doing an awesome job, so I trust her with that. Does that make sense? So, I think I
Yeah.
try to balance it that way instead of trying to fit everything in and overwhelm myself.
Hmm. And now your film company, which you kind of talked about earlier, has been included in several high-profile film festivals. And now I hear that you're gearing up to do an international premiere. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. Okay. So I grew up in Canada when I left Nigeria in 2008. I
Okay.
schooled in Canada. I met my husband in Canada. So Canada is like almost like a sentimental thing for me because I live there, especially Calgary. Calgary is my city.
Hmm.
And so right now I'm leaning towards starting my doing a premiere also in Canada because I have a huge fan base over there, and people are rooting for me
Okay.
to come back and do, a premiere, show them all the films that I've made over the pandemics, and they just want to see those films. So I felt a need to go back and do that with them, and also I'm
Hmm.
establishing my brand here in Houston, Texas. So I'm like, okay, we need to be able to do something here as well so that people can come together and see what we're making, see how we can partner up, see how we can collaborate with other creators.
Hmm. And then what are tips that you would have for other people who are wanting to start businesses and, considering the process and everything that goes into it?
Considering the process that goes into business is honestly, I from what I've learned now, you just need to know where you're serving, who you're serving.
Hmm.
And then honestly, people have so many ideas. Just pick one and go with it. And over time you learn, right? Like if we don't do anything, we won't learn, right? We will all not be here today if we don't try.
Hmm.
Start small. Don't despise the days of little beginnings. It's all gonna work out. You just have to take it one day at a time and find time to like breathe and
Hmm.
drink a lot of water. Anyway.
What are your hopes for furthering your companies?
My hope and my dream is for every woman, for Lumi to be able to grab this water bottle and use it.
Hmm.
And not just water bottle. I want you to look at it from the aspect of health.
Hmm.
Like, am I contributing to my health today? What am I fueling myself today?
Hmm.
What am I feeding myself? Because I feel like we as Black people, we've been convinced that soul food is so good for us, right? But
Hmm.
it might not be for you.
Hmm.
So think of your health. Think of how it's benefiting you, right? And do what works for you in terms of your health,
Hmm.
but pick up the water bottle still. So my goal is for every
Hmm.
woman to have it. As you're going to the gym, you're going to your offices, put in your wallet, go with it. Go with water. Every time you go anywhere you're going, go with water.
Hmm.
For Lumîérè Films, honestly, my goal is for you to sit back, as a Black girl, my baby girl right now, I want her to sit back and watch a film that I create and be able to learn from it. So that's the goal,
Hmm.
and then be able to say, oh, Netflix partnered with me. That will be the goal. Or Apple partner with me. They saw the vision, they partner with me. That would be the goal. That will be my goal.
I love that. Any future companies on the horizon that you're just like want to tease, want to tell us about?
Well, for Lumi, because it's a culture, I'm trying to change the culture of how we healthily take things in. I'm trying to incorporate some other stuff in it, like a yoga mat, because I think women use a lot of yoga mats right now, and I'm trying to like engrave it with like positive stuff for us, so that it has like positive affirmation on it. It's thick enough to take all the sweat and all the bustle and the heat of the gym, and if you're going for any yoga, and it has like positive affirmation on it that you can lie on, and it's wide enough, because I find that it's so narrow and you're like rolling and you're like, okay,
Yeah.
am I gonna fall off from this? So I'm trying to create something that can fit all body types, and we all feel included and inclusive.
Well, Imole, thank you so much for coming on CityCast Houston today. It was great talking to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
That was Imole Ladipo. If you want to follow more of her journey, we'll have links to her social media and business pages in our show notes. Now, here's what else is happening around the city. Houston seems to be where the money resides because we were recently ranked 5th in U.S. cities for having the most millionaires. Apparently, we have nearly 100,000 millionaires in this city. These big ballers are coming from a host of executives, investors, and of course, our big oil and gas companies. So the stat shows that 5.3 million millionaires are in America, with the top ones being in New York, San Francisco, Los Angeles, and Chicago. But we still came out on top as the only city in the South in the millionaires' top 5. That's it for our show today here at CityCast Houston. We'll be back tomorrow with another great episode. You don't want to miss it, so stay tuned. See you then. I think I said her last name right.